recent decades is made public. This was presented to the President and Prime Minister of France, urging diplomatic action with the U.S. through the European Union. The report was compiled by the Cometa Group, which investigated over 500 UFO cases from around the world.
This report, which came from a high-level group of French military officers primarily, as well as some scientists, is the most strongly worded pro-UFO document ever written in any language that has been made public by a group of this stature.
The Cometa Group consists of generals and admirals of the French military, as well as top-level scientists, such as André Lebeau, director of CNES, the French equivalent of NASA; General Bernard Norlin, former commander French Tactical Air Force; and Jean-Claude Ribe, the former director of the observatory at Lyon, France.
The title of the report is UFOs and Defense, What Must We Prepare For? Now it's 92 pages of text after that title.
The Cometa Group received data collected by numerous scientific agencies. Much of its content was based on reports from military and civilian pilots. This official document was an internal military investigation that was never intended for the general public. The report also contains a selection of photographs. These photos were subjected to scientific analysis in an effort to determine authenticity. Cometa also examined physical evidence, such as plant and soil samples taken from alleged landing sites. One such case occurred on January 8, 1981, in southern France.
There was only a single witness to that event. He was working in his small farm. Late one afternoon, he heard a whistling sound.
He looked up, and just above the trees was this strange craft. It descended and landed 30 feet away in his garden.
La forma c'était come si on posait deux assiettes, l'una sull'altra.
He told his wife about it in the evening, and she thought he was joking. They went back in the morning to look at the area, and they found traces on the ground.
Sì, che y avait le rondo. Tu vois, maintenant commence à revenir l'herbe, mais là, ils l'ont coupé beaucoup de fois. Et ici.
The scientists came out in a week or two, and they took further samples of soils. They also took samples of plants, and the analysis of the soil and plants were very interesting. They were carried out quite professionally, and there was evidence of compression of the soil, and there was a clear evidence of damage to the plants, the kind of injury that could happen because of heating, due to microwaves, for instance. So there was good physical evidence in that case, and moreover there were two kinds of physical evidence: injury, damage to the soil, damage to the plants.
Despite the physical evidence, the small town of Trans-en-Provence labeled the farmer as a flying saucer fanatic.
Je peux pas dire que c'était une soucoupe volante, que c'était... J'ai vu quelque chose,
oui.
Il s'est posé, il est reparti.
A number of cases analyzed by the Cometa Group came from military pilots involved in UFO incidents. One of the most dramatic cases occurred in September of 1976, when a Phantom F-4 jet flown by a pilot from the Iranian Royal Air Force attempted to fire a missile at a UFO. In the same instant, the pilot's fire control console and radio went dead. At this point, a smaller craft emerged from the main UFO and circled around the jet. The pilot then took evasive action, and power to his controls returned. He escaped unharmed.
In this report, they say, in effect, UFOs are real. Ergo, the extraterrestrial hypothesis may in some cases be the best or only real answer and cannot be ignored. They are technological. They do things that we probably can't do. And all that being said, this obviously constitutes a major concern for global defense and security.
When the report was completed, it was given to a number of leading French journalists. One of these was Bernard Tournel, the editor of VSD.
VSD is a French weekly magazine like Time Life. We are a journal press publication. It's not specialized in UFO sightings at all.
The Cometa Group allowed VSD to publish the report, provided it was not manipulated in any way.
If the public was aware of the Cometa report, then the Cometa report was not going to disappear in any kind of official or semi-official dark hole, so to speak. Then the Cometa report became a public fact, and it remains a public fact.
To date, the report has not been officially published outside of France. And so far, only one article, published in the Boston Globe, has appeared in the U.S. press.
I applied a very high standard to the story because of its controversial nature. I was basically retelling what the generals and the other people had concluded in their report. I looked at government documents that dealt with the issue of national security and UFOs, which was what the generals were dealing with in France.
Despite her thoroughness, Leslie Kean encountered much resistance in getting the story published.
I went to many papers, many of whom I published with in the past. People laughed, hung up the phone. The subject matter is ridiculed in the media. And so even though I was dealing with facts in this article and high-level journalism, they weren't interested because of the subject matter. This was really